right. Sit up straight.
I'm comfy.
You're
This is
trying to be
supposed to be fun.
All right. Hey guys, my name is Jesse. We're here from the Bucketheads podcast. This is a brand new era for films, brand new era for a new podcast. My name is Jesse.
I'm Josh.
This is the Bucketheads podcast. Okay, so first thing I want to really talk about is the new superhero era that is here, which is DC.
Okay.
Obviously, we both saw the Superman movie,
Right.
and I don't know, what did you feel about it?
Many things. They're off to a great start. I mean, it's a start, I will say. It brings in a little more of that optimism to the Superman character, at least. Granted, Warner Brothers and DC in particular have their work cut out for them.
Yes, they
we
do.
all know that Superman is a more uplifting character, but as time has shown, DC's main earner is the Batman IP.
Yeah, we'll get to talk about that in a sec too.
Yeah.
What did you overall think about David Cornswet? How did
He
you
did
feel
well.
about him?
No, he did well. I will say that I mean, I still am a big Henry Cavill fan.
Mm-hmm.
In particular, he embodied a more human and kind of downtrodden, kind of depressed Clark Kent, but you kind of get that from his backstory.
Yeah.
So you can feel for him, right? And they were heading in a right direction of building him up to be a more positive character, but when you get cut at the knees the way you are, not pointing fingers to anyone in particular, just it happened. So the new actor did a great job overall. I'm not at all displeased at all.
Yeah, that's the thing about what happened with the Snyderverse, and I've seen a lot of discourse going around with these Snyder Bros. Really not, really. I feel have wishful thinking for hoping this movie does absolutely terrible in some regard too. Personally, I like this film, and then right afterwards, I did see Man of Steel, and again, it's two completely different movies, two different feels, and I think right after the Nolan films with the Dark Knight trilogy, there was kind of this demand for a darker, grittier tone for Superman 2, and when Snyder comes in and he
gives them what they want.
He
gave
gives
them
them
what they wanted.
Yeah, it was straight up, in my opinion, a sci-fi fiction film. It was not a comic booky film. It was a sci-fi, darker tone. They're talking about bioengineered Kryptonians and their purpose for life, why they're, born, versus, Kal-El, who's the first natural born Superman in centuries, I think, is what Jor-El mentions.
Yeah.
So it's two completely different films. I still think Man of Steel is probably my favorite Superman movie. I think I like it more than this David Cornswet movie. But I gotta be honest, when I went to go see the Superman film, I had zero expectations. I was just kind of hoping it was good. That's it. Because I feel like we've had our hearts broken so many times over the course of how many decades of them trying to ramp up this new DCU, and it failed. Ramp up again, failed, ramped up again. So I just had low expectations. But going into this film, it was a pleasant surprise, and it was a welcome surprise. I actually had a smile on my face while I was watching it.
I think I can't say that I'm a comic book encyclopedia.
Aficionado.
That's a better word for it.
Yeah.
Maybe someone from Comics Explained or one of those channels can correct me. But I think in one of the original, as they kind of exploded the lore behind Superman and the Kryptonians, I think Snyder's version of, bioengineering Kryptonians and then Kal-El being the first natural born, I think that was actually in his comic book roots. Not in the 40s or 50s, but I'm thinking around 70s or 80s they started to come out with that. So I think Snyder was doing his best to hit back on his interpretation of what's already there and bringing it to a more alien life, a more alien society, right? Something far more advanced, but not an advanced in the sense that we know, right? They stuck to alien creatures. They stuck to more agricultural settings as opposed to like this, the Richard Donner film of just this crystallized society. That's one. Two, I'm actually gonna defend to a degree, because nobody should be spewing out bullshit or angry commentary.
Just a rage bait, anger.
Rage bait kind of
oh man,
shit.
I've seen so much. Yeah.
But I'm gonna defend the Snyder Bros, because what they asked for was quality writing.
Oh yeah.
They got it from, and they were stuck on Man of Steel as being the template of a good movie, a successful movie for DC. But we all recognize that the fans wanted a Batman film before Batman and Superman. Batman and Superman was a studio decision that was put on Snyder, and that's why we continued on the path of a dark series. Because again, Warner Brothers, I put the impetus on Warner Brothers. Big shocker, the studio telling the creative, the director, the writer, hey, we need something as similar to the Dark Knight franchise. We understand we have hundreds of IP, hundreds of characters, but we want to just brush them all in the Dark Knight. So I can't blame the Snyder Bros for wanting to keep on with Henry Cavill, because they knew that there was more to be offered, and the discourse from the studio heads at the time. There is a reason why Discovery merged with Warner Brother in the end. It was because the studio was terrible at their PR. They had Snyder, or they gave the green light eventually through social media discourse to green light Snyder's director's cut, right, which was like a 4-hour film, which is perfect in my opinion. But at the same time, you have the heads of Warner Brothers then releasing the film on Max, and then disrespecting the fans. Now you're gonna have people that
what do you
are
mean
angry.
by release disrespecting the fans for the Justice League?
So I think a day or two after the film was put on Max, I don't remember her name. I'm pretty sure she was president of the film side. I wish I remember the name, but she did put out in like a press release, kind of, I guess, her interpretation of a clapback, trying to say that this is a one-time thing and this will. In so many words, this will never happen again, and be grateful you got it at all. That would piss anyone off. Even someone who's like, I'm actually happy we got this. I'd love for this to continue. To then have that follow up with, listen, you little shit, you finally got what you want, now shut the fuck up.
Because we're ready to move on. You're
gonna create the environment that you ask for. And it's kind of unfair, because that's what James Gunn was then thrusted into, right?
Right.
I hope to wrap it up, because I've been talking. I hope his franchise does well. I hope that the fans, it's not Snyder Bros, it's fans that love and appreciate art, or that meme of Martin Scorsese, like absolute cinema, right? I hope they get what they're asking for, but also allow the writers to be creative and go back to what DC is all about. It's different genres within a comic book series. I don't want Dark Knight in all of my films. If I get another Batman, I'm happy Matt Reeves has his film coming out. I'm happy James
Yeah,
Gunn
we'll
wants
get
to
into
do a
that
Batman
too.
movie. But if I get another fucking Batman movie in another year, in one more year, on top of 4 more Batman somethings,
Right, right.
I'm gonna know exactly what the studio's
Well,
all about.
we'll get into that. So yeah, when I refer to the Snyder Bros, I refer to this smaller group of people who have put online that they hope that they can make
Yeah.
sure ticket sales don't happen for
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah.
That was happened weeks before, and it was purely intentional of
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
we're going to do this massive campaign to make sure no one goes to see the Superman movie, that they tickets don't buy sales. So that's what I mean by those type of individuals.
And that's pride
Obviously, there is a lot of passionate
Yeah.
fans. I consider myself one of them. I consider myself very disappointed in what's been constantly happening. And to go back to what was going on with Batman vs Superman. You mentioned Batman vs Superman. Yeah, that was not the intent. That was not the intent to have Batman in that film. In fact, I think
It was supposed to be a Man of Steel 2.
it was supposed to be Man of
The
Steel
studio
2,
told them
and I
no.
think it was supposed to be Brainiac as the
Yep.
villain. And they saw what was going on with the Avengers and Avengers Civil War coming out as well. I believe it was Civil War, or
Can you
maybe it was.
imagine Bryan Cranston as a Brainiac?
I thought Bryan Cranston was supposed to be in talks to be Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
And that's because he was
Heisenberg.
Walter White, and so they had the
Heisenberg got
Heisenberg.
it.
You know, that was something that people were actually excited about because of the grittiness of Man of Steel and the demand for something, you know, serious and something that Bryan Cranston could bring Lex Luthor in this serious, darker tone. Obviously, that didn't happen. We had Jesse Eisenberg. Say what you will about that. Overall, I do love the Snyder films. I can watch them, Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman Extended Edition, and I can watch his Snyder cut. Obviously, he was hit with tragedy, and he had to pull away from the film. There's a lot of
God bless his
background.
family.
Yeah, there was a lot of background, you know, stuff going on with the studios who were panicking. You know, they really wanted to get this new Justice League on board, and it just cratered and fell apart, left and right. And so James Gunn was given a tumultuous task of taking on this new helm and basically reconstructing it from scratch.
Yeah.
I know also there was some, like, I don't have this written down here for us to talk about, but yeah, there was Henry Cavill returning, right? We had The Rock with Black Adam, and James Gunn also mentioned this in a recent interview with Josh Horowitz, who was a fantastic interviewer, by the way. He's great. It's kind of amazing watching him grow from a small YouTube channel to being a real reporter for most of these Hollywood, press junkets. But yeah, he just did a interview with James Gunn, and James Gunn was kind of talking about behind the scenes of what happened when he signed on and what the studios, or perhaps even The Rock, was kind of pushing to get Henry Cavill back for his
Hierarchy
own
of
personal.
power
He,
was the-
yeah,
was
You
the
know,
motto.
so we were dealing with trying to figure out if we could take the job at DC Studios, and we're talking to David Zaslav and all the legal people there, and figuring out what our deals would be. And the day our deal closed, all of a sudden, they were announcing that, that Henry was back, and I'm like, what is going on? We know what the plan is. Like we know what the plan is. The plan was to come in and do Superman.
Yeah.
So it was really unfair to him, and it was a total bummer. But there was a vacuum at the time, and a lot of people were trying to be as
Diplomatic as possible.
diplomatic as
There
possible.
were other people that had a take on what they wanted to do with it.
They wanted to take on what they wanted to do with DC, and were trying to force their way, and it just was never a part of the equation for David Zaslav, who was the head of WBD.
Yeah, he said there was people who had, certain power aspects or certain, wishes that they wanted to push for, to be at the top and push their own projects, their own money needs. So he had to have that sit down with Henry Cavill, which luckily he said, you know what, we had to have the respect of who Henry Cavill was, and we invited him in, and we sat down with him, and we had to tell him. And he was, I think everyone has seen that post from Henry Cavill and how gracious he was, how tremendously gracious he was.
That's how you handle.
That's how you handle
PR.
Yeah.
That tells you the difference between. Again, this is why I go back to. I can't. Having a quote unquote hate campaign to make sure something fails, that's shitty. That's not done in good faith. That is absolutely done out of pride, and that's done. I mean, nobody does something wicked or wrong out of thin air, right?
No.
Unless you're the devil from The Omen. That's a whole nother story. That whole campaign is done out of pride. It's out of hurt. It's out of feeling disrespected, and that is directed at the top. It may be different management, but it is a continuing, a lingering feeling of disrespect and feeling like they're not being listened to. That being said, I'm glad the movie did well.
Superman 2025.
Yeah. For as long as I can remember, and I'm pretty old now, I've been a Superman fan for the very reason why this movie did well. It sold its film on a message of hope.
Yes.
An adventure, right? Of family, of trial, of the hero's journey, if you will.
Yeah.
Which there's plenty more comic lore to draw from for Superman.
There's so many avenues to go down.
That billionaire Bruce Wayne, it's just different. So we'll see how the film does with its sequel.
What do you think about, like, say, the Justice Gang? What did you think about those guys? For instance, Guy Gardner.
It's a start.
It's a start.
They did my boy dirty with that haircut. I understand that it's in the comic.
It's his haircut.
I understand it's in the comic, but there are certain things that, like, looking at that haircut. I'm sorry, he's a great actor. Maybe he liked the haircut. But when I say there are certain things you leave in the comic, it's that Mr. Mixius Spitlick, that little dwarf thing, if you remember him. The thing that causes havoc.
Yes, the fifth dimension.
You can put him in a movie. Don't make him look damn ridiculous. He looks ridiculous in the comic book. Don't make him look like the Leprechaun.
Yeah, I want to talk about that too.
With that same energy, if you put Guy Gardner with that ridiculous haircut that looks better drawn as opposed to in the film, maybe slick his hair back. I mean, he's supposed to be a jerk badass anyway. Slick his hair back, make him look like Regan from The Walking Dead.
Right. I think we've seen also recently too of some of the old creators for shows and movies coming out and talking about studios telling them, well, we need to actually make it more accessible for a wider audience, and we don't want to be too wacky or too comic booky, and so we don't want to show them in their tights or crazy costumes but for when I watched the Superman movie, it felt like he trusted the fact that we had 20 years of solid comic book crazy, like the craze of the comic book movies, going down wild rabbit holes. And so he kind of felt comfortable going, you know what, let's just show all the wackiness we can show for Superman, including Guy Gardner's haircut, including a pocket universe, including the fifth dimensional imp, which is when recently James Gunn is talking about doing potentially a writing of the second Man of Steel, or Superman 2 script.
Yeah, he's working on it.
That came out recently as well, that he's potentially working on the Super Family, and what all that entails. But yes, you mentioned Mr. McSpittalick, right? That fifth dimensional imp. I kind of suspect with James Gunn and who he is as a writer, the wackiness of his suicide, he would probably bring as a sequel Mr. McSpittalick, right? Yeah, or maybe even mixed with Toyman. Yeah. Toyman's a psycho. Yeah. Like, seeing both those two together would be kind of crazy.
But here's the thing: you can do that. That's fine. Have that be a subplot.
Okay.
Because if you're gonna have what do they call them? Normies now.
The normies.
If you're gonna try to market your film to normies and say, hey, watch Superman battle out with two midgets, dwarves. I'm sorry. What is the word for it?
Little people.
Who's gonna jump against this film first? The Hollywood writers that don't want. Oh no, I'm sorry. Peter Dinklage. He's not gonna want anybody in their right mind to play him I mean, Warwick Davis would be my first option because he's funny, he's talented, he's smart, and I'm very sure he can play cunning.
Sure.
But are you going to CGI?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to CGI Mr. Mxyzptlk.
And then you want to put in again this wacky character, and you want to sell that to the fans as the main draw. It has to be someone much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can have him be subplot for sure. It's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough.
Yeah, because you think they want to bring someone that brings a bigger draw.
Yeah.
Like I think Brainiac would be too soon because I do think they would want him to be a Justice League villain. Even obviously Darkseid, that's not going to happen. That's going to be a Justice League.
Well, then have Brainiac win.
Have Brainiac win.
We've already seen Superman. What was that? That first 30 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever, 3 seconds ago, he got his ass handed to him. Have Brainiac beat Superman at the end of the film. Have the Superman family have to collect him up, and then you can move on to, well, let's see if Wonder Woman can take a crack at Brainiac. She can. Brainiac is a smart answer because at least in the animated series, you had Brainiac be of Krypton, so therefore Brainiac is the last remaining survivor of true Krypton technology.
And I think people want to see Zod right now.
We've already done.
We've seen Zod too many times now.
Have Brainiac come in, and wreak havoc on the Superman family because he knows not only about Krypton, but he knows the cosmos.
Right.
He knows what draws in and out, and that can kind of trigger Darkseid to go, what is this power that's threatening me?
Right.
What is threatening my dominance? You can introduce a slew of characters in that sense. Maybe Brainiac's not the right one for the second film, but don't keep having these films end with the good guy always wins at the end. Dark Knight, Batman lost
because then people lose their expectations of they already know what's going to happen at the end of the film.
Why was the Infinity War? Why was that film so successful, and why was that so heart-wrenching, especially for the normie fans, right? That's because they'd not seen a film where all of their hopes and dreams that were invested, they got crushed. And because they don't know the comic book lore, they're not thinking to themselves, oh, well, they're all going to come back. They're all thinking, holy shit, we just sat through a 2.5-hour film and they all died. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know that there's going to be a sequel to that, but that draws the anticipation. That is the element of subverting expectations in a good way, because you know it's not going to end there.
But I think it would be too soon to do that. Reason why I say that is because you're trying to build a new universe, and you're trying to have all these characters be around for up to 10 years. I think also you see what happened with Marvel too. When you kill off someone like Tony Stark, Chris Evans is gone, Thor's kind of just treading along in the universe, and they kind of don't have something of they kind of messed out, because now we can't see Iron Man right now, helping lift up these new people. We can't see, Chris Evans lifting up his people because they're gone. It's the end of their story. It was the end of the story. And I feel with DC, if you do this too early, like killing off your main characters, like right off the bat, you're gonna fall into that same situation, except worse, because you're trying to start something new. You're trying to give them fresh life. And maybe when it's towards the end of this first act of Gods and Monsters that James Gunn has planned in his 10-year plan, that's when you start really, getting into, okay, not everyone is going to survive. And maybe we should have one or two. But we haven't even gotten to see the beginning of what the main mystery supposedly is supposed to be surrounding this new DCU storyline.
Did I say dead?
Dead, yeah.
No.
Was I wrong?
If I'm wrong. No, I don't want Superman to die.
No, just other characters.
I want Superman to have his ass handed to him by the end of the film. Because
why? I thought you were complaining that he was getting his ass beat in the beginning.
No. What I'm saying is, at the start of the film, of the first film, and I saw this a few times in press release. Everybody was so surprised that Superman is now dealt with a serious blow, and that's where he has to recover. I'm saying Brainiac is a smart way to introduce the kind of, not cliffhanger, but the plot of Superman's parents saying, build yourself a harem. You can have Kryptonite. You can have Brainiac introduced and kind of elaborate on what kind of society was Krypton that would make his father say, build yourself a family of your own. That can lead into, why is this next film about a Superman family? If we have all these other, IP, we have Green Lantern that can be introduced. We can go into the story of how John Johns, the Martian Manhunter, was there for Kal-El reaching Earth as he passed by Mars. That he made contact with John Johns as an infant. What I'm saying is, I would love to see Brainiac introduced as a villain, so that Superman is reminded that not only he may be all powerful on Earth, but he's not all powerful in the cosmos, and that'll draw in the normies who tirelessly say Superman is boring because Superman never loses.
Right.
That is the tired out, and that's why they love Batman.
I see the opposite of that.
They see him as human.
Yeah.
But he will always keep fighting. Now you can introduce the Superman family. That's great, but they're also no match for him, unless and this is one of the best draws from the Snyder films. That last one for the Justice League, where he said, where they put, you can't save the world alone. Right. So that's how you draw in the Superman family. It takes all of them to take out Brainiac.
Who do you think?
And then if you want to say, the Justice League would be a better suit for Brainiac, okay, sure. But right now you have some of the most powerful beings on the planet that share the genes of Krypton. They can take out Brainiac, but they all have to work together.
So who do you think? So who do you think would James Gunn bring into the super family? Do you think he's going to bring in Connor or Jonathan Kent?
I can see Connor being it.
I can see Connor.
You already introduced.
I think it's too early for Jonathan.
Underman. What was it? Underman.
Ultraman.
Ultraman. He was essentially Connor. He was a clone of Superman. Yes. Ultraman is supposed to be a Superman from another dimension, another universe, but they changed that up. I can see Ultraman coming back, but as Bizarro this time, because he got thrown into the black hole. That'll make sense of why his face looks cracked.
Like he starts thinking for himself, and he starts like traumatically all warped. His face is all destroyed. Maybe his body is torn apart, and he's just like looking at himself in the mirror, like, I am, so I think so I am. He starts freaking out on the citizens.
He can't handle it.
That would be kind of a cool callback.
Am me.
Bizarro, that's what you am.
Mercy. Bizarro? That not my name.
If the shoe fits, handsome.
Supergirl comes out this next year. At least I think it's at the end of next year, or they're going to start. They already finished filming, I think. So we're going to kind of see that multi-universe. See, this is what I'm saying. I do think with the Superman 2025 movie and seeing all its quirkiness of the pocket universe and the black hole and the river of.
Say there's 100 universes.
He
just released that. So does that mean that leaves the door open for Snyder's films? Because
no,
he's
I don't.
Mentioned that Cavill
think so.
is in talks. What are they going to put him as? Aquaman?
No, actually, we'll get into this because I actually have heard that they would talk about him being potentially Batman, which I thought was pretty funny. I mean, Chris Evans did play right. He played Johnny, and then Johnny Storm in Fantastic Four, and then he played Captain America in the MCU movies. But I have heard that obviously James Gunn does say he wants to bring Henry Cavill back for another role. Who? James Gunn?
James Gunn likes to talk a lot.
I think I think he's genuine though when he says his plan.
When I see some leaks, then I'll know the ball is rolling. But look, again, this comes down to what faith you have in your studio and your studio head, and I have no beef with James Gunn at all. I've loved his films. At least for Marvel, I've loved his films. That's how I was introduced to him.
Galaxy's trilogy is amazing.
Yeah, but all this talk of, oh yeah, we have this in the works, we have that in the works. I've seen that from so many other studios and their films were canceled. I'll believe it when I start seeing some scoops, some leaks, some press releases, some announcements.
I think his plan was a genuine plan.
Yeah,
Obviously,
that I'm sure.
when you start getting into the creative of writing the script, getting the crew together, actually going over the script with the studio heads, with James, because James said, I want to make sure the scripts are unique, the direction of the creators is unique and fresh and different, and we want to make sure storytelling is king. So when you start looking at this storytelling, I mean, obviously because the engineer was in the movie, she was in Superman. This was supposed to be an opening for the Authority, and back to the Pocket Universes. Obviously, if you've ever read the comic books for the Authority, it's a fantastic run. It's just, I think it's too soon. I do think it's too soon, so that's why they kind of scrapped that, I think. Maybe they didn't get the script right. There was rumors that he was working with someone, and the scripts just kept coming in, and they just were not doing it. Maybe they're talking about the Authority. And so maybe they've pushed that back for now. So we're just going to see the engineer in Superman 2025. But yeah, that opening of dimensions and pocket universes, that was supposed to be kind of like an opening for the Authority too, because there is a pocket universe for the Authority and where their base is, and engineer is part of that. But back to the projects that have been scrapped. Obviously, Amanda Waller was supposed to have her show. That's been completely gone. It's supposed to be after Creature Commandos. Peacemaker's still here. We haven't heard anything from Booster Gold yet. Or even Swamp Thing. But Swamp Thing was like the last thing mentioned, so I don't see Swamp Thing coming in for like another 5 years. And obviously with things going on with Brave and the Bold, perhaps they were talking about Brave and the Bold with Andy Muschietti, who's the director for The Flash, and he was supposed to helm the Brave and the Bold. So has the script come in even for that? We don't know. Are they even thinking of scrapping the Brave and the Bold? James says he's not for now, publicly. But again, all these projects are coming. It's just the process of getting the script done, who's going to write it, who's going to pen it, what are their credentials, and then are they actually delivering scripts that are good? If they aren't, they're giving them more time. I think they said, so this 10-year plan is probably going to be a 15 to 20-year plan, because the progression of these projects seems to be, okay, we're going with this, we're getting rid of this, we're thinking about this, we're looking for someone to pen this, and so the creative processes are going, and I feel like we're going to see more projects kind of push out, and then maybe new ones come in, depending on the directions of these films. So actually, I think this is a good transition too for us to talk about the Batman, because of what exactly are they going to do with Brave and the Bold, and then now that the Batman Part 2 script has been delivered, it's been, I think, 3 years, and it's been delivered finally. They took their time. There was rumors of Matt Reeves having issues health-wise, maybe too. We don't know. We have no idea. But he worked with his partner. They delivered the script. The studios are happy with it, and they are going to start filming in January. Part 2 is coming out in 2027, I believe. But this does come with the conversation too of, okay, so now we have this project for the Batman Part 2 greenlit. What's going on with Brave and the Bold? Who's going to be the Batman? Who? We have no idea. So when we were talking about Henry Cavill was a joke rumor. I don't know. I've seen Alan Richardson, who played Jack Reacher. He's been someone that's been rumored to, or fan cast, really. It's really a fan cast, that people wanting him to helm that role. So what do you think is actually going to be happening with the Batman Part 2 and Brave and the Bold? Do you think James is trying to see, probably from the success of the Penguin, and if the Batman Part 2 is successful, do you think they're going to start reconsidering on maybe we should bring the Batman into the DCU and scrap Brave and the Bold?
I don't see. What's his name? Alan Richmond.
Alan Richardson.
Richardson.
I think he's too big.
I always get that mixed up. I don't see that happening. It may happen.
Right.
Because I did read that James Gunn likes
him.
the actor.
He does like him.
Likes what he does with Reacher. But I don't see it. Then again, when James Bond, Daniel Craig was casted for James Bond, I didn't see that either, but he did well. It's just not my preference. I see him as Aquaman. I think he played Aquaman.
He did
in Smallville.
in Smallville.
So he
was supposed to have a show too. Apparently,
a return to form. I think that's a better fit for him overall. That would put a little more respect on the Aquaman character.
I agree.
Jason Momoa did a great job, but still, he wasn't all too ecstatic about being Aquaman as opposed to Lobo. That being said, Robert Pattinson as...
Why don't you bring the mic a little closer?
Robert Pattinson as Batman, continuing on. I can see it. It's a different tone, I guess. I did hear someone say that why don't we keep the universes separate for the time being, let Matt Reeves own the character of Batman, let him take it on, have James Gunn do a different project in general, maybe shelve Brave and the Bold for a while, because you are talking about the fourth iteration of Robin in that film. They are talking about Damian. Yeah, they're talking about Damian Wayne.
Oh, Damian Wayne is the fourth Robin.
Being Robin for that film. So therefore, you've already passed Nightwing, you've passed Tim Drake, you've passed. I'm sorry, I skipped one. Nightwing, Jason Todd, then Tim Drake, then Damian. So you need an older Batman.
Yeah.
Robert
Pattinson can have a 12-year-old
Robert
kid.
Pattinson is not going to have a. Maybe he's old enough, but he's not going to have a 12-year-old kid.
I mean, he's like 39 now, I think.
Yeah. I don't see it. I would rather have a more grizzlied character play Batman, which brings me to something that'll never happen. Why don't we just bring back Christian Bale? Why don't we? But let's keep it real. Bring back Christian Bale, but don't put the poor bastard in a Batman suit. Let's move forward with a live-action Batman Beyond. Have Damian Wayne play Robin,
right?
But bring in McGinnis as the new Batman, teaching Damian Wayne how to be a Robin.
No,
I
think people
Christian Bale monitor from the back.
That's wild. I don't see that happening.
I mean, it's a new era.
It's
right?
a wild idea.
It's a new era. You want to jump into the fourth Robin?
Well, because I think
which Batman are we going off
You know what?
of?
I
if
think
you want to go crazy for it.
I do think it's because, you know what? We've seen so many origin stories. So many.
Yeah.
So many.
So skip forward.
And I think that's what they're doing. I think they're, especially with Superman, Superman, they kind of didn't show his origins. They didn't show that long hour of Jor-El gearing up and sending his son to Krypton. They just jumped right into him. I'm 3 years in. I just got my ass kicked for the first time by Ultraman, who's controlled by Lex Luthor. And so I think they want to do this for Batman. We've kind of already, there's been so many iterations of Batman. I think they're like, you know what, we haven't seen who Ben Affleck was supposed to be. Ben Affleck's Batman with, I think it was Dick Grayson who was supposed to be the Robin that passed away. Back to the point. We haven't seen the Bat family come alive. We haven't seen Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. We haven't seen Jason Todd. Well, we've seen him die. We've seen him die like in 3 different ways: in a game, in Under the Red Hood, which is fantastic. We've seen him in the comics. So I think they just want to jump right into Dick Grayson is Nightwing, Jason Todd is the Red Hood. I don't know if what's his name, Red Robin.
Red Robin.
If he's even around, and just go right to Tim Drake. If Tim Drake's around, and we'll just go right to Damian. I think they just want to see this already realized live, and then just jump right into it, similar to Superman 2025. So I don't know. I don't see Christian Bale.
Well, that's why I'm saying
coming back. I think it's pushed train.
You're mentioning not doing any more origin stories. We already have the 3 Dark Knight films.
You're thinking like a variation of it.
Yeah, we already have. We would have by then a Superman family. So that's why I'm saying just have Christian Bale in the back. He's not that much older, not like the animated series, but have him with his realized family. Have Joseph Gordon-Levitt's version of Robin, whoever he is.
I don't see this happening.
Of course. Have the different versions of Robin there. Have that family established. Have the head Batman be in the back, and let the younger generation deal with the Superman family. Have an older, more wise, more mature Batman have to deal with an up-and-coming Superman who doesn't know a whole lot. He's been doing this for 3 years.
Right.
The Batman from Nolan's years was what, 10 years, 15 years as Batman. So he knows his way around Gotham. He knows how the world works. He's not going to want to join the Justice League.
Oh, he had like an
You're
8
going to have
hiatus.
and at the end of the film, you may have a more veteran Batman join the Justice League, right? He's going to do his missions the way he wants, but he has his family taking care of Gotham, which then you can spawn it off into a Gotham Knights series. Have the Bat family take care of Gotham while Batman proper, through Christian Bale, and through whatever.
Okay, you keep bringing up Christian Bale. I
I
don't see the Christian Bale thing happening.
He did well, and that's something that I have at least heard fans are like, okay, so we're gonna keep him, and that's fine. The Nolan, like again, the Snyder fans are.
The Snyder fans want Ben Affleck.
The Nolan fans want Bale. The Nolan fans want Bale to be left alone. I'm just saying, what did Deadpool say to Logan? We're gonna make you do this till you're 90.
Till you're 90. So, you know what? I don't know.
Like,
maybe Christian Bale's in that mode.
I'm a Superman fan, so I'm biased. I'm not interested in seeing who is the next Batman. Either keep the one you have, or shelve that shit for another 10, 15 years.
Yeah, because here's the thing.
Do everything else. You have so many characters. You have Green Lantern. You have Red Tornado.
They're going to be coming out with the Lanterns.
You have Wonder Woman, who did well for a movie.
One.
You have you just put out Mr. Wonderful. Wonderful?
No, Mr. Terrific.
I'm thinking of
he's going to get his own show too.
Yeah, Mr. Terrific. You have Green Arrow. You have Black Canary. These are all characters that Warner Brothers, DC, I'm not even talking about the comics division. I'm talking about film. They have let these characters lose importance.
Right.
They've let this happen. I mean, you can say Batman funds our studio. Batman funds our departments. These films fund everything. That's not the fans' fault. That is on the part of the creators, the writers. They have the means to write a better story. It's just that they keep latching everything on Batman.
Because Batman sells. Batman sells tremendously.
That's the point.
Unfortunately.
Because they tap
fortunately for me.
They tap into Batman's. The most important thing about Batman is not how his mom dies. Is not the pearls that drop. How many times, like you said, we're tired of origin stories. You can have the Bat family all you want. At the end of the day, it's the same tone of the film. The most important thing about Batman is his rogues gallery. You don't say that about Superman, because Superman is already boring. He's overpowered. But Batman,
it depends who's
he has Clayface coming out. He has the Penguin show. He has a potential Mr. Freeze.
Well, I don't know if they're going to do a second season of Penguin, but Clayface is definitely coming out.
At this point, how much more do you want to wring the Batman dry? Let him rest for a little bit. Let him be the Nick Fury of that universe and be in the background of every film that they push out from here on out. Have him be in the shadows and let the audience see, oh shit, all throughout this film of Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Shazam, Wonder Woman, Batman was always there watching this film play out. At the end of your 10-year run, you'll have a better idea of who's Batman. But if you run into, we need a Batman film now, you're making the same.
I don't. You know what? I don't disagree.
Of what you've been doing for the past 10 years.
I don't disagree of having an element of Batman in the background until eventually it's time for him to come out from the shadows during something important. I actually think that's perfectly fine. See, the thing is, I do think with Clayface coming out, and I think you and I have talked about this previously off podcast, Clayface is going to be
body horror.
Is going to be a body horror. It's going to be in a similar darker tone as the Penguin. And I think this is going to be the real deciding factor for James Gunn and for the DCU on what the heck they do with this Batman.
Yeah.
Because this will be, in my opinion, this will be the pivotal moment.
Is that standalone or is that?
It's a standalone Clayface movie.
Okay.
But if they start seeing, I mean, they did say that every single project is going to have its own element. It's going to have its own themes and tone.
Yeah.
And so if they are going to match that tone from the Batman and the Penguin to Clayface, but Clayface is part of DCU, I still think there's going to be, this is going to be the decision maker of what do we do with the Batman. And perhaps similar to Creature Commandos. You see Creature Commandos?
No.
You didn't see Creature Commandos? Go watch it. There is an episode in Creature Commandos towards the end where we kind of see a silhouette of Batman. This is the DCU Batman, and he looks beefy. He looks big. He does look big. But with the Batman Part 2 coming out, the love, I mean, there's a mix. There's a mix on the Batman, but there's an absolute love for the Penguin.
Yeah.
They love the tone. They love Gotham in that world.
That's the point.
The Gotham in that world is lived. You can actually feel the dirt. You can feel the grime, the trash, the rats. You can feel all of it. And you're like, this is absolutely Gotham. So I think if Clayface is in this same tone, maybe they bring it in the same pace as Superman. I don't know. This is going to be their own thing. Mike Flanagan's writing it. Mike Flanagan is a fantastic writer. This will be the decision maker. Maybe they will bring in a silhouette similar to Creature Commandos of Batman in this movie. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a glimpse of him in that movie. We don't know. But this will be the pivotal movie to understand what they're going to do with Batman. Now, for the overarching storyline, Lanterns is the show that they are saying is going to be the reveal of the deeper mystery. Personally, this is my most anticipated show.
Yeah.
This is my most because I've been wanting
forward to it for sure.
a Green Lantern show or movie, a proper one. And I love that right off the gate, they're not trying to say, oh, we're only going to have Hal or we're only going to have It's both.
It's both.
And
it's been a long time coming.
I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
I know they were thinking about bringing Josh Brolin originally to play Hal Jordan. Because he's supposed to be a more older, experienced Hal that mentors Jones.
He'd be a big boy.
And obviously, I think that didn't pan through or whatever.
Yeah.
Instead, they got Kyle Chandler. When I heard that, I was like, oh, if anyone's seen Friday Night Lights, you got the mentor you wanted.
Yeah.
It's about character. It's about striving to be better than everybody else. Listen to me. I said you need to strive to be better than everyone else. I didn't say you needed to be better than everyone else. But you gotta try. That's what character is. It's in the trying.
We'll have to see how he handles the role.
We'll see, because I might eat my words, and he might just be weird. I don't know.
Expectations of Hal Jordan.
What's your expectations of?
I don't want him to. I don't know. I've seen a little bit of Friday Night Lights. I've seen some other films with his. He doesn't like. At the end of the day, you can say, yeah, you want to coach. Hal Jordan is a military man. I can see him playing the role of military man and coach. I don't see him. He's a fine actor. I don't see him playing an action hero.
Really?
Superhero. And so that'll have to be picked up with the plot, because Hal Jordan is
like physically. You don't see him like physically.
Hal Jordan is physical. Hal Jordan is versatile. Hal Jordan is agile. He was a pilot. He flies like a pilot. I mean, his power is flight. His power is manipulation of will. He is a physical presence. He may not be all powerful like Superman. He is certainly intelligent, and he's a military man. He is going to be on the move. Nothing that I've seen from that actor has said to me he will pull that off.
Really?
So that whole speculation
that's different for me.
that whole speculation of, and this is like fan rumoring, right? Of Tom Cruise being Hal Jordan.
Oh, there was rumors
like,
of that
yeah,
too.
I can see
Obviously,
Ethan Hunt.
Yes.
I can see that
Top Gun.
being Hal Jordan.
Air
I
Force.
can't see this new one.
Or excuse me, Navy.
So Jon Stewart, I don't remember who the actor is for Jon Stewart. It's going to be the same, but Jon Stewart, if you play him younger, okay, he can be a little more rash. He can be a little more arrogant. He's, still a military man. Again, like I have to go back to this. This is why, maybe this is the unpopular opinion. Don't do a Batman. Don't do a Batman. You need to have all your other characters fleshed out. Have your core DC come out. I know Batman.
Back. You're saying push him back.
Yeah. I know Batman is a huge draw, right? Especially for normies.
Yes.
Especially for normies. It wouldn't be. You have your fans. That's fantastic. He's a number one for DC. So with that being said, establish some new likes. Establish some new favorites, so that you can explain at the end of your let's just say 5 years to make it the least amount of time possible. Let's say a 5-year waiting window, right? So at the end of your 5 years, you at least have 3 or 4 more characters who've been fleshed out, whether through film or through HBO Max's series. At the end of your 5-year plan, you see Batman has been in the shadows of every single film, and then you understand why Batman has contingency plans for everyone.
that would be crazy.
Because you don't have to explain his origin. You don't have to explain who Batman is.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain why is Batman so good at fighting everybody? Because he's been watching every single world calamity and saying to the audience, through like a fourth window kind of vibe, I don't have to lift a finger. I've been watching you fight. I know Superman is weak with kryptonite.
I'm so down for that, actually.
I know he's weak and gullible because he wants to be more of what I'm trying to remember the comic or the film that drew to Batman talking to Alfred about why Batman can beat Superman. It's not because of the kryptonite. It's because Batman says it himself. He says, at the end of the day, Clark is a good person.
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm Batman. I'm not. I'm not drawn to my humanity. I'm drawn to my will. I'm paraphrasing. I'm drawn to my will.
You're talking about Clark.
Clark versus Batman.
Right.
Because even Bruce doesn't identify himself as Bruce. That's the point. The mask is Bruce. Mm-hmm. Batman is the real character. Bruce is gone. He died with his parents.
Yeah.
So to have Batman come out at the 5-year window, watching Green Lantern handle his villains, watching, like I said, watching Superman.
Well, because he's been around at this point.
Nearly lose to Brainiac, right? If you bring him out. Watching Supergirl fight Lobo. Watching every other person and going, I'm just a human being, but I've been watching all of you. None of you have been watching me. That's the point. We don't have to get into. We don't have to get into. Well, what is Batman's motives? Batman's motives are he's Batman. Stay out of his city. Stay off his planet. If you're here for good intentions, keep your distance from me. And that's why he doesn't want to join the Justice League. He has his own motives. He has his own family. He has his draw from his history. And then if you want to
as much as I would like
if
that.
you want to hit Batman into a film, don't give him a private film. Put him as the draw for the Justice League. You build the Justice League film, but you draw it around Batman. Because the point of the film is to say, look, we've amassed this league, but we need you, Batman, as our front man. We need our resources to pitch it to humanity. Because we are all powerful, but you're human.
Yeah.
You are normal at the end of the day. You are immense will. So
that was another thing too with Superman the movie too, which was the billionaires, specifically Maxwell Lord, who funds the JSA.
he's coming back, right?
He's going to be in
James
Peacemaker.
Gunn's brother is Maxwell Lord.
He's now Maxwell Lord. Originally, he was played by Pedro
I
Pascal
wish I had a
in
brother like
Wonder
that.
Woman 84. I did not like him.
Good actor.
Sorry, buddy, I did not like you in that movie. But yes, he is playing. James Gunn's brother is playing Maxwell Lord, and he funds supposedly the Justice Gang. Lex Luthor he's another billionaire. Obviously, he goes off the rails. I'm sure we're going to get into the billionaire aspect of Bruce Wayne in this DCU also. So, yes, I am curious to see how the resources aspect of Wayne Enterprises ties into the world of the DCU, technology-wise, health-wise, how Bruce, as the philanthropist, works. And you know what? That'd be hilarious if we actually just see glimpses of Bruce Wayne. You know, he is in the background. He's just Bruce Wayne was on camera today.
He's not
doing
taking
an interview.
notes. He's just having a cocktail. Everybody else is losing their shit.
they're just like, he's such an
He's
asshole.
just having a drink. He's having a beer, sitting on the couch,
Billionaire.
smoking a cigar, and he's thinking to himself, "You know how much this is going to cost me to pay for all this? You know how much time you're wasting that I don't have because I have my own city to run. Now I have to pay for the funding for this mess." I can see Batman developing a chip on his shoulder. Now, if you really want a dark film, you want to keep with the nitty gritty. You want the body horror. I honestly thought the whole point of I forgot the name of the two countries in the Superman.
Barovia and I forgot the second.
I thought the whole plot of that, why Luthor wanted that land, was because what is the Middle East known for? Oil. I thought they were going to establish a Legion of Doom in that country. And so
because he wants his own territory, so he can build Legion of Doom.
So I thought, wouldn't it be a better idea have a Lex Luthor film, but you center it around the Legion of Doom. You bring out the rogues. You don't have to do Captain Boomerang necessarily, but bring in Clayface, bring in Black Manta. You do a Legion of Doom where
we're still far from that though.
Yeah, we have it where Lex is financing these people
right.
as a Superman threat because he can't do it with Ultraman anymore. He can't do it by himself. The jig
People
is
know
up,
who he is.
Right?
They know how
so he has
shitty
to
he
leave
is.
the country anyway.
Yeah.
He'll find amnesty wherever he puts in the money. So you build a film about creating the Legion of Doom to answer for the Superman family. And in hindsight, that's what draws in the heroes to flesh out, right? So that's how you draw in the Green Lantern Corps, because you see too much activity.
I feel like we're imposing so many different storylines that we kind of hope we want to see, instead of what's actually being done. Because everything, everything we're saying is just our own wishes and.
To be fair, though, this is, in my opinion, proof that the Superman film was a success. Because before this, with what had happened again with the studios, I wanted nothing to do with DC. I was tired. Yeah, the Batman was a good film.
You were disappointed.
I almost didn't even go see it.
Really?
Not against Matt Reeves, not against the actors, not against the plot.
Right.
I was tired of Batman because Batman to me is a, what do you call it? It's like this little whistle. It's like this little bell ringing. To me, it is the establishment. It is the studio saying, "Come give us your money. We've got another Batman film."
Yeah, it's a cash cow.
It is a cash cow.
Yeah.
It is almost like what is it? It's Pavlov, the dog.
Oh, how about
the more you feed it and you ring the bell, and at some point you just ring the bell and the dog will come to expect something.
Right.
That's what Batman's become, for me anyway.
Well,
Every
yeah.
time you put out a Batman film, okay, this is the studio in need of money,
fair.
wanting to sell on the same plot. Who's the new villain of the week? Okay, great. We got another Batman movie. Oh, next year we have a new actor playing Batman. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah. No, I want structure.
Marvel doesn't do that shit.
I-
Marvel fails spectacularly on films.
We'll get into that.
Whether deserved or undeserved.
Believe that.
But at least, and believe me, like some of these films, I go in. If you were to see my house, it's full of Marvel. It's full of Star Wars. I go in with the anticipation that the studio won't let me down this time. Marvel has been letting down its fans, but at least you can't say that it's not been Spider-Man, 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 Spider-Man,
Spider-Man 4.
Spider-Man,
Yep.
Spider-Man. It's something else that they're, at least it's tried and true but failed. I'd rather that than some studio going, oh shit, is it time for Batman again?
Every time we need to get something
Like
out. I get what you're saying.
How successful has Marvel been for the past 10 or so years, putting out all of their IP, and how much of the IP from Warner Brothers DC have they put out?
They've put out what is popular and what people know versus what is obscure. And
What they
this
know
is
is what the
different
studio
though.
allows them
Yeah,
to know.
yes, that's true, but that's because the studios don't understand the well, they probably see the runs
You hit it.
of the
You hit it
character.
right
Hold
there.
on.
The studio doesn't
hold on.
understand.
They see the runs of the
Now
characters
they do it.
not doing well in some comics, right? Obviously in sales or whatever. And obviously they don't think that a general audience would find I don't know, someone like Booster Gold or someone like Swamp Thing, all that entertaining that could bring in $1 billion. You know, they would see that, you know, they'd know that Superman, well, hasn't hit $1 billion for this film, and neither has a couple other projects, but that they know Batman is a huge draw. It's pretty much, it's there. Like I you know, the big three, right? It's Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Those are the big three, and that draws and brings in the real money. So they know this. They know what works. This is different though, because, you know, for the first time, I know they try to rush it with Snyderverse because they're trying to compete with Marvel. This is the first time I actually see them sitting down, taking their time, and building a structure. And I think that's what's bringing people this hope and bringing this people a little bit of excitement again. Even if they've been so disappointed in the past, I've been so disappointed in the past, but there's still this kind of hope that they're actually building a structure. Even if there are projects that are getting swiped left or right, you know, right now, or being pushed back or whatever, there is this, hey, even if one thing goes down, there's a beginning trust again, for the first time maybe, you know, that something will come out and they will produce an overarching story, and that's, I think, what's getting people excited again. So, and you want to say anything else about Batman, or
Don't rush it.
don't rush
Don't
it?
rush it. Don't.
From Josh himself.
I'm gonna say this again. No one expects. Let's be honest. No one expects Christian Bale to come back.
I don't.
That dude is
He's gone.
worth so much money, and he's done. He's tired of it. But I'm saying, don't just rush into another Batman movie because that the studio expects to make $1 billion out of it and it sells.
Mm-hmm.
What you want, if you really want to create a universe, you're gonna have Batman for a long time. That's just the name of the game.
Yeah.
That he's the most popular of the DC franchise. So if that's the case, let that actor come to you, because that character is the linchpin, not just for the Justice League, but for the studio itself.
Mm-hmm.
So if the studio really wants to say that we want to build our universe, putting out Batman as soon as possible, you're going to be anchored to Batman, because the way the fandom is, at least the franchise for film, not
Right.
for comic, for film is, For comics, they go, I want Green Lantern, I want Batman, I want Superman, the core, right?
Mm-hmm.
For film, is this a Batman movie? Nah, I'll wait for streaming.
This is why I am excited, because we know James's background. James brings in the obscure. That is what he is known for. He is bringing in the characters like Guardians of the Galaxy, who people thought was going to be the first. I think it was, I don't know which actress it was, but yeah, they anticipated this being the first Bond for MCU. And it actually being one of the top, because it was the most weird characters. A talking tree, a guy that, a raccoon, talking raccoon. All these weird characters. And then even when he came in for Suicide Squad, and he brought in all these weird, like Weasel, and now Creature Commandos. I like Creature Commandos. He is known for bringing in these characters that nobody knows about, and he's gonna make you love them. Mr. Terrific is the perfect example of this. I didn't know who Mr. Terrific was. I should have. He was a huge member of JSA, but I didn't know, and lots of people didn't know. They saw the movie. They all, I think collectively, even if you liked the movie, didn't like the movie, everyone collectively said Mr. Terrific was the best part of the film. And he was not widely known like a Batman or that's why I am excited for James doing these projects, because he will bring in these characters we have not seen fully fledged out yet. He's going to make sure the people, I feel like I'm glazing him right now, but I feel like I'm glazing him. All right. But I got to say, it feels like there is somebody with intent looking for creators who are going to make sure these characters are done appropriately. And if it's not done appropriately, it's not going to happen. It's going to be pushed back. They're going to be something else.
Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us.
And with that said, guys, for this podcast, the whole purpose of this podcast was for me and my buddy Josh to sit here and just talk about movies, things that we love, things that, he and I could literally sit together and talk for 2 hours, even without this podcast. And that he and I have massive differences of opinions too. So you're gonna be seeing some of that too. You're gonna be seeing some of our differences, some of our personality. Hopefully that shines through. And we are just gonna be sitting here and just talking about what we love. There's gonna be some things we don't like. There's gonna be some things we disagree on. But hopefully we talk more about what we love and what we like than what we despise and what we were disappointed by. And with that said, guys, thanks so much for tuning into this first part of the podcast. We're hopefully going to be doing this every week. And again, my name is Jesse.
I'm Josh.
This is the Bucketheads Podcast.
Yeah.